I would like to call the meeting of the Madera County Arts Authority Board into session. It's now 3 o'clock. Are there any additions to the agenda?
There are no additions.
Then let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance
Flag
to the republic.
God. You. It's a public comment section of the agenda. If there's any members of the public that wish to address the board on any item under the jurisdiction of the board, but not on the agenda, now is the appropriate time. Seeing none, we'll move on to the public session. We have the consideration of the approval of the minutes for the June 26th board meeting. That was sent out to you. I have one little minor correction. It says the next meeting was scheduled for last week, this week. Okay.
I was here.
It was stated by you 1 week prior, and we had that discussion of how I was going to make the correction.
Oh, I forgot.
Okay.
Okay, so we're set. Okay. So is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Make a motion to approve.
A second.
Okay, anybody commenting, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Rob Poithers couldn't be here today. He is our treasurer. And I'm not sure why Joetta's not here today. He lets me know, so we have 3, but we have a quorum. So the treasurer's report was sent out to you also. We have $68,380 still in the bank. Our managers pay far less for legal fees and other services. That's helping us quite a bit. So is there a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
I so moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, and now item 4C, which is the ad hoc committee report. Today we have 3 things we're going to talk about. We have Robert Ortiz here today, and I think everybody's met him now. I would like to just start by saying that we have a mural downtown brought to us by CASA. And it's a great mural, and we had a great introduction and opening of that mural project. And that caused Robert to talk with Wilma Hashimoto, who is the CASA director. And he got a hold of me and said, if we're interested in maybe a Madera mural, he knew somebody who is from Madera who might be interested in working on a project like that. So this idea came out of somebody who was involved in the CASA mural downtown. Okay. Today, I just wanted to introduce the concept to everybody and get us started thinking about whether this is something we want to take on and who would help us take that on, and then where it might go. We have lots of options for where it might go. We have some thinking to do there. And then what sort of medium do we want to use to present that mural, depending on whether it's going to be portable or permanent, or how we might want to do that. And then maybe get to, so what are our next steps if we want to move in that? Okay. So let's see. Can you, you have a presentation to make first? Okay, why don't you come on up to the here. Again, this is Robert Ortiz. You can introduce yourself.
Hello, committee. My name is Robert Ortiz. I'm here to speak on behalf of Jonathan Del Toro. Mr. Del Toro is an artist who grew up in Madera County and spent his summers in the fields just west of this place. His grandfather, of course, was that field worker that he worked with. He went to Madera South Campus. He graduated. He is currently studying at Cal State Northridge and working towards his master's in social work. And once completed, he plans to utilize his education in this community. What we are proposing today is a way to beautify the great city, county, and communities. Greetings from Madera. This proposed mural is a 30 feet by 15 feet mural aesthetic, multi-aesthetic, piece that represents the pride, but also shares the vision of the pride of the community and hopefully to inspire future generations.
You'll hold on a second. Can you queue up the PowerPoint and I? Oh, this is what Fresno did, just in case everybody doesn't know. And many other communities in the valley have these kinds of logos somewhere in their town, and they use them for publicity, for aesthetics, for beauty, lots of things they communicate with these things. Okay, these are the two that you're talking about. So go
Yes.
ahead.
So it's basically combined into one, but it would read greetings from Madera. And it has each letter something that symbolizes or basically a monument of Madera. As we kind of talked about Snow Whites, and then the 99, which connects us all, and the pine and the palm that separates just a little. And the locomotive, which this great town was built off of. So each letter represents something fine of Madera.
The three locations that are materials, what do they represent? Were they chosen specifically for a reason or just
These
for
are
illustration purposes?
yeah, these are sent by the artist. These are just renderings of the areas that he preferred, things that will stand out, areas that can be beautified, and then also just kind of for spacing. Something of this magnitude, a 30 by 15, means just a little more space so that we can capture the details in each letter.
Am I correct in understanding that three sites were chosen because this is where mural of this size would fit, but it's not necessarily at the time with the permission of any specific property owner?
Yes.
Okay.
We have some more options. I asked Nick to also show us some more wall options. There's lots of them in.
And one of the things, Robert, that we as a group have not decided, and I don't know us to, but these locations raise an interesting question. Like 110 East 4th Street, that's not exactly downtown Madera in the sense of Yosemite Avenue and close to it. And the one that's at 1213 West Yosemite, that's right before the curve as you're on
You said
down here.
Yosemite,
Yeah,
going over into
Yeah.
Howard Road.
yeah, it's on the other side of farther down the road from which is okay because it's still kind of sort of downtown, but not really. Because where we are is not on the other side of tracks either, that part of it. But I'm not sure. I'm just raising this for a point.
No.
It's a
and
question
again,
somebody has to decide. Where do we as a group or this era, once they get involved, where do they want these focused, if at all? That doesn't suggest that it shouldn't be in places like this, because obviously places reflect areas that need something a lot better, as long as a property owner. You've answered my
I'm going to show a couple more sites. Nick, you want to talk about them? Or you want me to? You can just stay right there.
Okay.
He'll come up next to you. Okay, now we're going to show some more sites that are downtown area.
Good evening, Board. Nick Salinas, Chief of Staff with Madera County Board of Supervisors. Tailing off of his words, essentially looking for a site that'll meet the requirements for that type of mural in terms of scale. So just kind of looking through town and looking back on some relationships that we've already built with property owners, we found a few of these to be the ideal locations that we'd look to target with your direction as a board. So the first location right here is the old Raoul's Barbershop, just along the train tracks. Would be the southeast corner of Yosemite and Gateway. Mr. Javed owns that building, has shared his interest in hosting a mural at his location. Additionally, a rear of the Remax agency here on Gateway and 4th, we've had positive interactions thus far with the property owner as well as tenants. And in driving through downtown, we found this to be another ideal site as well.
Now that, would the mural there be, you see on 4th Street,
Correct. 4th Street heading east.
but on the longer back wall?
Correct. I think that would meet their
Okay,
size
by the alley.
requirements. Yeah. Or we could get a little fancy and do a corner type of mural. Not-
Yeah,
not-
wraparound.
Not too.
A wraparound would be interesting. It really would, yeah. My concern to back up on the east side of former Raoul's Barbershop building. Cars parked there and you see some in the
Yeah.
pictures. And I don't know how you deal with that. Show off more of the mural. People tend to like their parking as close to where they can get to wherever they're going.
Excellent point. This was more of a rehab location, but again, a lot of opportunity to partner with this property / business owner.
The old ice house?
No, that would be 3
Valley Feed.
Valley Feed here on Gateway.
Okay.
This would be at a 6th and E, Edward Street, just south of Yosemite, 1 block over. There's a lot of frontage there as well. And then this is along the Serrano's Furniture Building on Yosemite and E, the southeast corner. Yosemite just being to the left of this picture as well.
But that one got a lot of space over there.
Yes, got a lot of space.
Raoul Barbershop have a plenty of the space to put them on.
It looks odd. All of the indentations in
Yeah.
the wall.
I'd put that window at probably 8 to 9 feet.
Yeah, because I see the windows over there, but maybe it's not enough room.
Yeah, I'm not sure how the maybe it looks like a roof drain coming off would impact the mural or not, but we could work through that if needed.
There we need to also think about making sure we were cleaning up that area, and I think that's a railroad track property. So I'm not sure who maintains that.
Yeah, working with railroads historically as a county and as a chairman of a local parade, it's quite a challenge, I'll
Yeah.
say. I'm not sure as far how far out their easements go. But I could imagine this would be an opportunity for maybe Love Madera to adopt this area, especially if we were to get a mural put into this location. Could be an opportunity for them as well.
Yeah, we looked at this one, we looked at that one for the Casa mural too. Because it's a great location coming into downtown. But it looks a little trashy around there and then cars parked there.
Yeah, going back to the parking, I'm not sure if those are designated parking spots.
Well, no,
I'd
but
argue
No,
that
they're
there'd be a
not.
traffic concern with folks coming in and out and getting in there. So perhaps we can get some cooperation from the city as to potentially looking at maybe no parking or finding a way to better mitigate those parking issues.
You had a brief shot of the Bramer building. Was that the
Coming
east
up.
side?
Yeah, west side of the Bramer
That's
building.
the west side.
Yeah, where property owner again is interested and willing to work with us, and that presents a really, really nice canvas too.
That one is next to the West Fargo, right?
Yes.
Yep,
Yeah.
between the Chase and Walls, Old
There's a
Chase.
restaurant over there.
is that a better side than the other side?
Well, there's parking on the other side.
Ah,
Yeah,
true,
right.
true.
I could, pull that up.
Parking runs parallel without side of it.
I wonder if it makes a difference that it would be low. Maybe it should be higher.
Imagine it probably being a little higher.
Yeah.
I do like the other side of that building, because one, it leads in, so people will see it as they come in.
Uh-huh.
And there's also not a lot of parking there. And that's also a great area for a photo op. So for media and things like
Right.
that, people would have a better shot on that side of the building.
Yeah, just a couple more locations. This is a newly proposed adult daycare center owned by a family out of Fresno who've also shared an interest in partnering and potentially assisting. I'll leave that term very broad in terms of how they'll assist, but they're looking to assist in any way they can as well. 629 East Yosemite, the old social services building. Very large canvas there as well. And then last but not least, the Don Tony's building owned by Mr. Bufford, who's a committed downtown association board member who shared he's also interested in utilizing his alleyway there, or his sidewall for the alleyway. Another thing to consider with this site is the former, is that a hotel prior to its burning down?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it's
we're
actually some-
I
100
haven't
years ago, yeah.
haven't heard any specific plans in terms of what the city has proposed for this site.
city
but
owns
again,
that. Right? And they are thinking, I think the owner and the artist are thinking it's okay time to take down the. All of it. Right.
yes.
Yeah. Um. Is that the last site?
That was the last, yes.
Okay, then, one of the things I mentioned to Robert and I want to bring up here is the, concept of what, materials we use to build to. Okay. I lost it. Yeah. Getting good at. There. There's a lot of stucco walls and this and that kind of materials on the walls. For one thing, got me thinking. The other thing that got me thinking is if we chose something like the wall there where you enter into downtown that's on the side of Ben or Lex Bufford's building there. And then the city builds, they're going to build something that's probably going to be 3 or 4 stories on that corner. Then we've got it squeezed in and out. And so I began to think about what options there might be for having it be put on something that would be movable. So in the event something happened, we could hold on to it, but it could be movable. And so I went down and took a picture of what we have at the art gallery. That is done in panels. And the panels were then affixed to the wall and framed. It's been there now for about 5 years. And it looks just like the day we put it in, because it was done with quality and good coating on it. And it is the kind of thing that we moved there. We had it in storage and we moved there. So thinking about building in frames like that could be an option. And then also Jim's been working with the Caltrans in the city with the freeway project. And they have, their artwork is put into, I don't even know what to call those. No, you have to,
No, let's not talk about family.
Please. Does that mean I have to hang out with Chuck Whelan at
No,
Thanksgiving?
no,
Is
that's
that,
why we're not talking family.
is that what that means?
Exactly.
My name is Jim Core. I'm the executive director with Madera County Arts Council. Yeah, the State Road 99 Caltrans project is a series of framed pieces. The pieces that were chosen will be photographed onto high grade vinyl, which will then be wrapped around a thick foam core, which then will be installed into frames. And they're in a pattern of 4. And then there will be 5 sets of those along this long cinder block wall. So the different than other projects, it won't be painted onto the wall. It'll actually be framed pieces in the hopes that it would be easier to keep clean and reinstall if necessary. That's all.
so I think we ought to consider, how the artist wants to paint on the wall or on another kind of medium. For portability, if we needed to, if the building falls down and build another building next to it. So where we put it is an issue and paying for it is an issue. And then what to paint it on, well, something we should talk about as well.
Well, I think the word Madera is especially suitable for a wraparound. It'd be mad on era on.
I know, it's like,
So where do we go from here?
Thank you, Mr. Bormer. That was tailing right to my next comment. As staff, I'd really appreciate direction to maybe zero in on 1 or maybe 2 locations, begin discussions with the property owner and see what their engagement and their interest may be. And at the same time, we could also get direction or general consensus from this board as to what your interest level would be. If there's a need to bring in other jurisdictions, that's something we're happy to do. Or if you think solely this organization should drive that next project, we're also able to take that route as well. Keeping in mind, this is a joint powers agreement, which 3 jurisdictions are represented here at
Right.
this board, along with the Arts Council as well. It'll be your board's pleasure.
you have any thoughts about that?
Well, we already have a kind of sort of policy, even if it's a default policy, the murals that we've already done. So, yeah, I do have the concern that I expressed earlier. Where are we going? Where are we planning to focus? On Yosemite, closer to Yosemite, or should it go down another 3 or 4 blocks, either to the south or west? I don't know the answer to. I think my interest is mostly where will it be the most visible by as many people as possible in order to drive the benefit that we're looking for. And if that's direction that we all want to take, then that it should be closer to Yosemite. So include the building, be the dry cleaners, west end, where Glenn Neal has his law offices right now. That was on the east wall, correct? Or just north and south of Yosemite. There are several options that appeal to me, looking at a photograph. I'm not sure about Raoul's building. Problematic for a number of reasons we've talked about.
It's ideal in terms of this. I don't know about. Did he have that on his list? He didn't have that on. That one and the one across the street. The Buffered building. Those are great locations for entry in downtown. So I like those. I worry about one because of build another building. But then again, it made it mobile, move it, so that wouldn't be a problem. And then the one over on the other side, we have little windows and connector things along there. And so that could fit probably better on some kind of frame as well. But I worry about the kind of junky look there and who would maintain that.
Yeah, because.
I mean, I think it's a chance to clean it up, but
close to the railroad, right?
The railroad, yeah. Mhm.
If I
And
may,
the
Madam
Bramer
Chair.
building, the west side of the Bramer building is intriguing. One,
Uh-huh.
because it's a uniform wall. You can say that about a building that's more than 100 years old. And it's only 4 blocks off of Gateway.
Right. And it's
Uh,
very visible.
It's visible and it ties to a building that's more than 100 years old.
Uh-huh.
The
And it's historic.
significance to me.
One other concept just to throw out there to keep in mind is some of these locations we've shared are in the running for cannabis permits, in which a number of those organizations have came to this board and to myself personally to share an interest in participating and putting a mural up on their buildings. So perhaps, and I'm sure Mr. Vegas could speak to that better than I could as far as that process and where we're at with that. But I know the old Citibank location is on that list. Mr. Javade's building's on that list. The Chase Bank is on that list. So I'd hate to double down on locations that already may have something in the works. Not to say we can't work with them, which we absolutely will. But in selecting this particular location for this particular mural, it may be a good idea to look for another building who isn't in the running at this time.
Well, the Bramer building's not.
Correct.
That gives us real historic
Mhm.
perspective. Then there can be, people can paint of the building itself, they can talk about the history. A lot to that. And, but the buffered building, not on.
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Artemio, you were gonna say something?
Well, like, we gotta choose the right location, where it can be more, visible,
Mm-hmm.
more clear view. That should be the best option. We can come out with one of the walls. Place. Do that.
Right.
Should be the best.
I'd
best thing we can
like to
do.
add an option of
Yeah.
downtown.
Madam Clerk, will you share the screen, please? Taking a further step back from this location again. Across the street to the left, the old, or actually that's the old Three Monkeys building. I believe it's is it Garinger who's in there now, but nevertheless, there is a company,
Garabay.
Bay, excuse me, who's in the running for this location. And, simply put, it's just quite the challenge to have an appealing and highly visible sign there, but looking across the street to Mr. Javade's building, there's quite some area perhaps for a larger scale type of mural there, elevated again, as mentioned earlier.
And now that we've got the longer, it looks like on the west side of the building that I'm still referring to, our old, looks like 4 windows that have bricked in. Is that what it's,
Mm-hmm.
and one were just to paint over that, it was awkward, but talking about basically making a frame inserts affected whether artists and if very move that working mounted high up, because I don't think we're going to change the fact that people parking unless the city does.
I think those are great points. The only problem with that is it may provide a challenge for the artist with panels. Due to the fact that, again, the size of this mural, in order to capture the detail in this, it will need a little more spacing. My only worry is with the panels is how much spacing will you have?
Well,
Pretty deep wall going from north to south,
And
but I'm no artist, so.
I'm still thinking you want a 30 by 15.
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
And you're thinking that we couldn't do panels?
Again, I'll speak with the artist to get his points or to kind of get his, to pick his brain a little bit, but from what I asked him from that original art council building, he did mention that it would be a challenge. That's that specific location because of the size. And also just the panels may be a little harder for him to work on.
That specific location?
No, the art council location. Or
Yeah.
24 Gateway.
No, we're not talking about replacing.
Talking about that model,
Yeah, oh,
not putting it there. no.
gotcha.
But when we move out of there, we can take those panels, put them in a new location.
Oh, understood.
So I'm thinking, no, we do the Madera thing on a panel. See, and I think it would work better there because then we don't have to deal with those windows that have brick on, like they've been in. We just put a frame, put the mural, it's still 15 by 30. But it's gonna be done in panel, just that way.
Actually, yeah, when you put it from that perspective, yes, that may work.
And being an outsider looking in when it comes to how one designs these, talking about a 6-letter word, Madera, I would hope that 6 panels,
It would spin.
it's been,
Mhm.
oh, that it should be up against the can of the shop, you know.
Okay, so, I'm interested in whether the city is interested in being a part of this because it's Madera. I'm wondering if you talk to city council about whether they're interested in having us work on. And if you want me to come and, I think it's something the city should have input in and should that as a important advertising.
And perhaps the city manager would want advance notice so that in case the council person said, well, how much will it cost? What else do we need to take into
Yeah.
consideration? He promptly answered.
Or we could sit down and talk to Arnaldo. Something up.
I can hear the vibes. He's thinking, yeah. All righty then.
Okay. Other things.
Just, looking for direction as to which locations to pursue and what this board would like to see perhaps.
Yeah.
One of the board members can join myself and perhaps staff from the city in a joint meeting with a couple of property owners to see
Yeah.
their level of interest.
Uh-huh.
Come back to the board and at the same time, maybe grab a cost estimate from the artist on what this would cost and maybe bring an item back to the board for discussion.
You're thinking the artist and property owner talk about what would fit on their building and
Correct.
those options.
Yeah, along with the representative from this board and also the city.
Yeah, great, perfect.
Good.
If you need
Okay,
somebody, I'll volunteer. Nick.
beautiful. Thank you. Honorable Wheelan.
When we did the Casa mural,
Nothing honorable.
when we did the Casa mural, we found that most important was that we have a willing building owner. And it was in a place that the artist could do the work and was okay with that. And then Casa wanted to have it be visible. So we walked downtown looking for places to. And so I'd like to follow somewhat the same kind of procedure here. To, look and see what we have available. Start to talk to owners about the possibility. Okay. Great. Okay, and then we'll
Thank you.
see you again.
Thank you
Thank you
both.
for taking the time to come. The artist Jonathan wanted to be here today, but has a class. So he couldn't, I didn't want him to, cut school. I'm a former educator. Gotta go to school. Okay, we'll bring this back at the next meeting. Thank you. Item 2 is the update on our video arts project. Close but no banana today, huh?
This is true. The short version of this story is, I'm reasonably certain we'll have it at the next meeting. And I hope it's the next meeting because I won't be here in October. But the videographer who is putting this together, just as a reminder, teaches videography at Matilda Torres High School, Madera Unified. And he provided me with a basically rough draft video in June. He asked me for some comments, gave him a lot of critiques that he appreciated, and I was supposed to have the video by now, but he ran into some difficulties. And then he told me it was done, but he's having trouble getting it to me, transferring it to me. And then when he fiddled with it in order to make it transferable or so that he could send it, it fell apart. Having to do it all over again is something that I sympathize with because I put together a number of videos for kids and other family members and friends and gatherings. And I've had the doggone things crash on. I know the frustration and don't know why they crash. So he has started all over today, but he's enthused about the way it works. And based on what I've seen him do in dry run from a couple of months, I think he's talented. I think that we'll have something next meeting. Talk about positive. But I also didn't want him to get it to me at the last minute. And he bring it here without first getting Karen and Nick involved because it's got to be presented visually so you can hear what it is. There's talking and there's music, but also in case there were things on there that I thought needed to be changed, I'd give him an opportunity. Last minute.
Right, that's fine. Do you think maybe this will come together? Want to start doing presentation to the boards that we might talking about this mural project?
Yeah, sure. Because included within the video are some of the downtown mural projects.
Yeah.
As well as the older buildings from downtown. And if one of the potential places for this new Madera mural project is one of the older buildings downtown, there's a portion that will tie together.
Great. Okay, I'm glad you're making that come together.
No, I'm not really doing much except giving
Well,
you the excuses.
if you hadn't called a few people and gotten it started, it wouldn't be happening. So
No, I kind of sort of scripted it for him.
that's good. Oh, it's going to be wordy. No.
Yeah, 5 or 6 minutes.
Okay. Thank you, Chip. Item number 3 is just I wanted to thank everybody for coming out for the Casa mural grand opening. It was really cool. We had all kinds of people there. We had the press there. We got on the front page. It was a great opening, and it's a great mural, and people are talking about it. And so I think it's a good example of what we can continue to do. And maybe there'll be other organizations that want to sponsor murals too. So a lot. We have some, I think, a good start. And that was all because of the executive director of CASA, Wilma Hashimoto, who did a great job of organizing it and getting all the pieces together. Okay, item number 5 is member and staff reports. Okay, we have our next scheduled meeting is September 25th, which is not a good day for our staff to be here. So if we skipped September and went to October, did I hear that you're going to be gone, Leland? The whole month?
The last half of the month. Half of the month.
We can accommodate this September.
Okay,
It's not an issue.
okay.
We'll make it work.
Yeah, because I think we want to have Wheeling here. You're just gonna have to have a substitute. We'll try to lowball the video stuff. So, okay, we'll keep it on the 25th
October?
September
Oh,
25th. Okay, great. Okay, anything else for the good of the order? Thank you all for coming, and this meeting is adjourned. Okay.
No, we're not meeting.